Andre, do you have a name for the makeshift studio yet?
The Kriznib.
The Kriznib Studio. We're live. We're back.
Yes, we are back too.
Yeah, it hasn't ended.
Yeah, you know what? We didn't go anywhere. We just stayed here 7 days until and just watch the games.
That's
this is the Kriznib Studios, and we have some information for you guys.
Yeah, we're talking playoffs again.
Playoffs?
Yes, playoffs. More content.
Yeah, we're here. Last week was pretty bad. 2-4 on favorites only. We probably should have thought about taking home teams. The only one that lost at home was Dallas, of course.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, you had the +3 Bucks and the +1.5 Texans, and you seen that reverse line movement, man. I'm telling you, I'm just going to start doing that now. When I see that shit, it's over.
Well, no one. I mean, for me, I should have known better about Dallas. Like I told you, I had Dallas in a lot of my parlays. Now, I did pick them as far as the single game. I picked the Green Bay to cover that hook. But I figured Dallas would win the game, right?
That's all I figured. They'd win the game and then choke to the Lions.
Yeah, just do it that way. That's what Detroit figured, the Lions.
We got blessing, because,
Hey, the Lions won again, bitch.
They did win again, so home game against Tampa Bay. We'll talk about it here, but we're going to start with Saturday. We're going to go to the AFC, and we're going to talk Houston going on the road to Baltimore, a Week 1 rematch. Also was in Baltimore. That was my lock that week. Fun fact. They covered.
Nice.
Barely.
That's nice, though.
Yeah. What are you thinking about this game, though?
Oh, my goodness, man. I like the way Houston is. I like the way they're playing right now. They're playing with a lot of confidence. The coaching has really been pretty good too. I mean, I do believe that Cleveland's got out-coached in that game as well as outplayed. But it was different things that Houston did. But in this particular game, man, I don't like that it's a 9.5 spread, but I know who Baltimore is at home.
Yeah.
I know who Lamar Jackson is. I know that he has a lot to prove.
He had a lot of time off too. That was really big. I mean,
help them, because they had some injuries also that they can heal up from.
They got quite a few. Humphrey, Flowers, Hamilton, all questionable.
Okay.
Had to look that. Yeah, I think most of those guys play. To be honest, I think that's why they took all that time off. They want their team as healthy as can be.
Yes.
However, despite all the numbers, all the metrics, I'm gonna reverse some of my play this week because I don't think it's that easy. I still think the NFL's a one-score league, and I mean I got stats for you. I mean Ravens covered last 7 following a loss. Ravens home games always go under too. That's just an automatic play. So to me, when I see big spread and games hitting unders, I usually want to take the points because it's a large amount of points, and if the game's going under, they have a better chance of covering.
Right. Okay.
Because my first instinct was Baltimore 9, probably like you.
Yeah.
But
that was my instinct.
Yeah, I do like Houston in this instance.
Okay.
I think they keep it interesting.
I think they do have the guns to keep it interesting.
Oh yeah.
Plus they, it's one thing to be, to have a bye, okay, for that week. If you play the last week, I think you get a little bit of momentum. You get the jitters out.
Yeah, and it's not like everyone's sat. It's not
exactly.
You know what I mean, Queen played, a lot of their defensive line played, guys that you might not know that are household names, but they went and took 50% of their snaps like they normally do on a week.
Yeah. I think Stroud is he's playing very confident right now.
Yeah, and he played great. I mean,
yes.
You carved up a tough defense, but Joe threw that game away. Let's be honest here.
Flacco, you're Flacco. I forgot.
Dude,
I knew something bad was gonna happen at some point.
It was rough. Yeah,
they just busted it in our mouth.
I literally the same thing happened with Dak in that it was like 2 drives just threw away the game.
Yeah.
They were down by like 10, and then basically both those guys threw 2 picks, and it was over.
And then it was over, man. You know, really, it was only really 2 games that were really competitive.
Yeah, I don't even.
To me.
Which ones were that? Just the Lions one to me.
The Lions. Damn.
Because I don't think the Bills one was. In Tampa Bay, that was a snoozer, and it was like they walked them.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the only game.
What am I thinking about? It was only 1 game.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get more competitive ones.
Yeah, I think that, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's a 1-score league.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 2nd round. I don't see any blowouts, honestly. Not 10-point blowouts. No. So I'm gonna have to take Houston too. I'll take the points.
I'm right there with you. Ready to move it along?
Yes.
All right, we'll go to Saturday night. The NFC 1 seed, San Francisco 49ers, hosting the Green Bay Packers. Niners are a 9.5-point favorite at this point. Green Bay did shock the world to a degree. You know, Dallas did their normal choke job, which no one's mad at. Even though I still hate the Packers. I had no interest in watching that game. I went to a buddy's and I was like, I'm just bringing the Switch. And once it was like 21, I'm like, I'm fully invested in Pokemon right now. Fuck this shit. My buddies are like, but if it's 27-7 at the half, there's a chance. And then it happened. I'm like, you guys are really about to watch this? They did too. So shout out.
Well, I mean, did you think that it was going to be a blowout in the first half like that? No one. I thought it would be the other way around. I really did. But again, something happened with their run defense in those like last 6 weeks. They were just getting ran all over. Yeah. Buffalo ran all over them. Miami did the same. Washington can't stop a nosebleed, so that was their tune-up game. But they got ran all over by Aaron Jones. He had 3. Yeah. Detroit too. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was bad. What do you think about this game, though?
I feel like everyone's probably on Green Bay 9.5, like me. I think I seen it go to 8.5 even. I didn't check the number before we recorded, but I know it's in that vicinity still. Yeah. I think people will gravitate to like a big upset loss, or at least the Sharps will. And that's where I'm at again. A 1-score league. Even though San Francisco, you know, maybe the best team on paper, Green Bay might shock people again, and I think they can cover 9.5.
Well, this is what the research that I did on San Fran, just to see who they've beaten throughout the season. Listen, they beat the 2 pretenders in the NFC that were supposed to be good teams.
Yep.
Dallas and Philly blew them out. Okay, now they lost to Cincy. Baltimore got spanked by Baltimore.
Yep, and they lost to the Rams the last home game.
Lost to the Rams, lost to the Browns, and they also lost to the Vikings.
So pretty much all good teams. I mean, the Vikings, they had Cousins at that point still.
Mediocre to good. You know, Browns, Cincy, you know what I mean? And Vikings, of course, like you said. My point, though, is are they really that good? Or are these teams just that bad? Most of these teams just bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, to me, in my opinion, Green Bay is probably the 3rd best team in the NFC. 3rd to 2nd. Because they did beat Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean,
they show up. They show up.
And Love has come into his own. We've seen what he's doing. He makes plays, you know. Now to me, and I think, and I'm going Green Bay just to cover. I didn't say they were going to win, but I think they cover. They could possibly win if they can run the ball effectively, like they did against Dallas, okay? And if they can put some pressure on Purdy, because we know Purdy is an MVP candidate, but you put pressure on him, we've seen him melt.
Yeah, it's Quay Walker. Time to shine, buddy.
Oh my goodness.
And then who's the other DT? They just paid a ton of money to him too.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
I can't think of it, but
they did.
Your time to shine.
Right, exactly. So, you know, I don't know. Plus, the Rams played San Fran tough. Time. They won that.
And they did. I mean,
so
they played everyone on San Fran too, right? It was full.
Yeah.
Except McCaffrey sat. He was the only one I thought that sat.
Yeah, he did sit. Yeah. He had a hamstring injury, I believe.
Yeah, they just want him to be full strength through this game.
Yeah. Now they're going to have to try to stop that run. Now that's going to be. I mean, San Fran has a lot of weapons. Okay. Yeah. And they probably are the best team, but I think they are beatable.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's any given Sunday or Saturday in this case for me too. Yeah, that's just kind of what I think. I'm like, okay, these guys, they surprised a lot of people.
Yes, they did.
And this isn't any cakewalk, but I think getting the reps in too, like just getting playoff reps on the road, that matters. I don't think they just walk in and get blown out. If they start off hot too, watch out.
Exactly. They have to get out to a good start, man, in order to steal this game.
Yeah, I noticed in some of their wins this year, if they start out with like a 14-0 lead and get a turnover, they're probably winning the game. Happened to Detroit, it happened last week to Dallas, and it happened earlier in the year, I want to say, to Minnesota as well.
Yeah. And I think that's when it all started, was that Thanksgiving Day game against Detroit.
Yeah.
They played really, really well, and I think that really helped them mentally.
Oh, for sure. And that's the thing.
So yeah, I'm taking Green Bay.
So you're going to be watching these games, drinking. It's a Saturday.
Are you more than likely, yes. Yeah. Now, Sunday, we got Monday's work.
I know, that's the problem. We got the good games on Sunday, though.
Good games on Sunday.
That's the worst part. I really wish they would have switched it. Like, I know, right? If it was the next two games on Saturday, I'd be a wreck.
Well, I mean, you could get it in, I guess, first game.
That's what. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get it in for the Lions game on Sunday, and
it's
then
3:00 kickoff, right?
Yeah, and then I have to probably sober up around 7.
Yeah, that's gonna be it's
because I'll probably leave. Yeah, wherever I'm at, if I'm not at home, I'll probably leave halftime or something. Make sure I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Sleeping by like 9:30, 10. Who knows with this Michigan weather?
Right.
That's the worst part about it, man.
Yeah, right now it's very cold, people. I mean, it's dude. My socks was freezing.
Yeah,
and my feet don't even don't sweat.
Dude, you can't even get the ice off the roads in that right now. That's how cold it is in the state. So
it's ridiculous.
If you're watching elsewhere, y'all don't understand how cold it gets, and if you're definitely from the South, like, an inch of snow would ruin you.
Right. You're shutting down the city or town.
Yeah, literally. All right, I think that does it on those two games. We will go to Sunday, and we will open it up with the Detroit Lions. Hosting Tampa Bay. They are 6-point favorites in this instance. What's the under-over?
The under-over I have is 48.5.
48.5? You said it. All right, Detroit Lions. They finally won one, guys. 30 years in the making. I mean, if you weren't on the edge of your seat watching that game, what were you doing?
Exactly.
Cheering for the Rams?
Right. I mean, there were literally people crying, at Ford Field, and probably at home too.
Yeah.
After all that time, man.
I was a little emotional. Honestly, I got home that night because I was stone cold sober. I'll just full disclosure. I had a time on Saturday, and then with my car issues, and I was just like, we're gonna play it cool.
Right.
So I mean, I got home that night, and I was just like, damn, my whole life I've never got to see that.
Yeah. Well, my history. I'm a little older than you, but I'm not from Michigan.
Yeah.
But I keep up with sports anyway.
Absolutely.
So I know the deal, and I've been in Michigan since 93, 94. So I understand y'all dilemma. I understand what it is.
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere.
I became a Detroit Lion fan.
Yeah, for sure.
I've always been a Piston fan, but football, baseball, it's kind of grown on me since I've been here. So, I've kind of felt a certain way about it too, because I know how long you fans have had to wait. Yeah. And I've kind of had that same thing with the Bears and the Cubs, honestly.
Oh, dude, I'm a Cubs fan, and that was my whole childhood watching and laughing at the Cubs. Like that was
laughing at them.
Me and my dad, because full disclosure about my life, I pretty much only have watched bad sports my whole upbringing. It was nice when the Tigers were good, but man, it was like 03, 04, the Cubs and the Tigers were like the two worst, or actually the Cubs had a little run at that point.
Yeah.
And the Tigers were real bad. So we watched the Cubs, crazy. WGN. Always an afternoon game, man. It was tight.
And isn't that something that, the best sports towns and sports cities have had to go through struggles, with their professional sports teams as far as not winning? Cleveland dealt with the same stuff.
Oh, they still are.
Still are, yeah. Bears.
Buffalo.
Indiana. Indianapolis, the Colts,
the New York Knicks,
the Knicks. It's something about that, man. The diehards, man, have to go through this struggle.
Yeah,
and that's why it means so much, when something like this happens.
And that's the thing. Yeah, I've had people ask me already, Bills Lions Super Bowl, who you root for?
Right.
I'm still rooting for the Bills.
Hey, that's
but that's because that's where my money's at too, man. Just letting you know. But
yeah,
I mean, if Lions got there, I mean, it doesn't matter who wins at that point. I'm literally crying at the end of that game. Doesn't matter who's winning.
You be the one wearing a half shirt, half the Lions, half the
Bills. Yeah. I don't think any player has been on both teams, but however, we will talk about this game. Lions Bucks. I just think it's their time, even though we beat them at their place. What I want to say, week 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Because it was after the Monday nighter.
Right.
And just the tidbit I got, the Bucks, they do cover on the road. They've covered their last 8 of 9 on the road. I don't like that, but the thing I do like is the Bucks can't run. Lions' run defense is great. We'll be able to focus more on, deep threat, Mike Evans and Trey Palmer, unlike Philly's secondary, who was getting shredded. That's just something I just don't get burned. If you don't get burned, you guys are going to play great, great run-stopping defense like you normally do, and I think the Lions should cook on offense too.
I agree with you. I think it's the same formula that I said about the last game. Detroit has to run the ball effectively, and they have to stop the run.
Yep.
Okay. Now, some people consider Mayfield a gunslinger, but hell, we just got rid of the main gunslinger in Stafford.
Exactly.
And he did do his thing, 366 yards.
Yeah, he was cooking
and still lost.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm not worried about Tampa Bay, because they can't come in here and bust us right up in our nose. You know what I mean?
They just busted in our mouth.
Just saying. But I think that's what we do to them. I really think Lions just come out the gate. They came out the gate so strong in that game. Yeah. I mean, if that's how you start every game, when you score on those first couple possessions, that's huge. Even though the second half was a struggle.
It was.
And I kind of seen it coming.
Yeah.
Defense stepped up.
Yeah,
we weren't expecting that.
They really did.
Hutch has been great.
Yes. I liked Aaron Glenn's plan of attack.
Oh, for sure.
He did his thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think they cover. Honestly, I mean, I know Tampa Bay. Like you said, they've covered most of their games, but I just think that the crowd is just going to be so into it, and it's just going to be too much. I just think they run the hell out of the ball. Now, Tampa Bay does have a pretty good run defense, though.
Yeah, they do.
But I have so much confidence in Detroit's offensive line.
Yeah, Montgomery and Gibbs too.
And Montgomery did not play that first game.
Correct, had the stinger.
So I think all these things are going to be factors, and I think Detroit gets it done, and I think they do cover the spread.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I wouldn't say lock it in, because I probably won't bet this week. I'm just gonna be a fan.
I may be a fan too.
But yeah, Lions 6 all day.
Now, do you think this spread goes up or down, or what do you think?
I think they're just going to keep it right as is.
Okay. All right.
Might go to 6.5.
Well, I got it at 6.5. You got it at 6?
Yeah, if it's at 6.5, I'm still there.
Okay.
Anything past 7.5, I might think twice.
True.
That's where I go with that kind of thinking. Both teams did cover all year, though. They were 1-2 in covers. Fun fact. When I seen that, I was like, oh, yeah, Tampa did cover all the time. Because remember that streak where I was like, I'm just betting Tampa earlier in the year. I was like, I love this team. They're winning the div.
Hey, Mayfield, I like Mayfield's attitude. A lot of people don't like Mayfield, but I like his attitude. I like, his, what do you want to call it? His, I don't know, his attitude.
Yeah, charisma.
It's something about him.
He's a certified pro. I mean,
he is, man. I give him credit.
Does his commercials been through a lot of because he was a number 1 pick also. So like.
Well, let me ask you too. Did you pick them to go to the playoffs before the season started?
Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them winning the division.
You did have them winning the division. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh damn, good call.
Yeah, 7 or 8-1, wherever you got it, guys.
Man, great call.
That was the one, yeah, because I was like, they can do it again. That division isn't shit. I would take a chance on that number.
I tell you what, man, they may be a force to be reckoned with next year as well. I mean, if they can get some more players, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, so could Detroit though.
Oh, Detroit's here to stay.
Detroit's
For
gonna
at least
be
the next
here
3 or
to
4
stay.
years.
So San Francisco, Detroit is what we're hoping. But hey, man, Green Bay, if you pull off the miracle, we'll see you in Ford Field.
Man, come on, cheeseheads. Get it done. Sure.
All right, let's move it to the final game of the slate. This is, the new Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady, as some will call it. You could call it whatever you want to call it. This is Bills and Chiefs part 5, I believe, at this point, 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
2 playoff matchups. Chiefs won both of those games. One was the 13 seconds. The other one was a 38-20 loss 3 years ago.
Okay.
This is big. We've been wondering what Buffalo could do against Kansas City at home. We've always thought it'll be different.
Mm-hmm.
They're still as 3-point favorites in this game too. Kansas City took care of business too last week. I was thoroughly surprised. The Dolphins were crying. They took care of them in the cold. It was a tough game they had to play, and that was home field advantage for the Chiefs, but Buffalo knows how to play in this. It's their time to show, hey, we get the home game against a guy who's never played a game on the road in the playoffs.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's a hell of a stat right there.
That's crazy to me. I just think it's Buffalo's time. I'm the fan. That's the fan in me though. If you've been listening to the show all year, I've been harping 2 teams, Detroit, Buffalo, all year long.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this game?
How's the weather going to be? I know you know.
Who the hell knows if it's a week in advance, man. I think it's going to be cold.
Okay, the only reason I asked this is because revenge is a dish best served cold. So hopefully it's going to be freezing. You're right. This is Buffalo's time.
Yeah.
This is get back time. Okay, they got them right where they want them. They have them at home. Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And KC is not the team that they used to be either. Okay.
Their defense has been great this year. That's been literally carrying them.
Yeah.
Offense,
well.
and I can go through right now. They're kind of hurt on offense. They have no Jerick McKinnon, no Sky Moore, Ross and Tony are questionable this week, so it's going to be down to Kelsey and Pacheco and other homeboy went off, Rajay Rice.
Rice, yeah.
And maybe Justin Watson will get in there, of course. Usually does.
Well, another question I have too. I think Bills win this game. I think they do the same thing that they did last week. They run the ball well.
Yep.
They play solid defense.
Correct.
They don't turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
Which they didn't last. Did they turn the ball over?
No, they didn't. That's the 4th time all year they didn't turn it over.
You win the game if these 3 things happen. Now, a question for you though: is Gabe Davis playing? I know they have a slew of injuries too.
Let's look real quick. He's questionable. He's a big question mark. I don't know if it matters. It will. All these guys matter. Their secondary's banged up. Rasul Douglas, Taylor Rapp questionable.
Yeah.
Their linebackers are hurt. Bernard's questionable. Dotson's questionable. We might see half of these guys. We might see none of these guys.
Right.
It's down to that. Even Benford showed up on the report. The secondary, Bill's secondary never gets to play healthy. But again, I remember at the beginning of the year, this is why I made them my pick. They just have the deepest team. When I was showing you the roster, I'm like, these guys are deep. Look at their PFF grades. These guys are consistently across the board in the top 10 or 15.
Right.
They show up. Even last week, Kier Elam showed up and had a pick in the end zone. That guy's been trash all year.
So, so basically, okay, would you consider their team more of a system type of thing? You just fit people into that particular scheme or whatever.
Definitely on defense. Yeah, definitely on defense.
Okay, all right, I get that.
But Kansas City is the same thing. Very tight scheme defense. They play good, man, and I just see it being another classic. No matter what side you're on, just watch the game. You're gonna have fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very entertaining game. Now, are you nervous at all about the experience that Kansas City has in big games?
They have no experience on the road. That's what I'm interested in seeing.
I think everybody's interested to see how they're going to play this.
I think Kansas City, Buffalo built their team years ago around beating Kansas City because they were, the pretty girl at the time. Now they're a little, looking a little rough, but, I'll leave you with one big stat here that does scare the piss out of me. Chiefs have covered as an underdog in their last 9 against the AFC. And that's pretty rough. That does scare me. I think it's going to be a classic game, but it's going to be 27-24 Bills or 28-24 Bills.
Yeah. You know, this
We'll
might
cover by
be-
one.
I think I might bet on this game. Just a little something. I'm not going
Yeah,
crazy.
maybe, yeah.
You know, I didn't do too well last week.
Right.
I had to redeem myself. But this is just going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah,
man. All 4 of these games are just going to be.
Yeah, like Saturday's going to be the like kickback, like not paying as much attention, but Sunday I'm be like I'm not going to talk. I'm going to be
What's going on? What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is great. Like I said before, it's a great time to be a sports fan,
Exactly.
especially NFL.
Yeah, if you have like, you know, friends that, you know, gather with your friends, gather with your family, like that shit's important at this time of year, especially for the big games, man. Like, you know, I kind of regret not watching the game with my dad for the Lions, but I was like, we'll win a second one. I'll see you that day.
Right. You already knew the dub was in the bag.
Yeah, we knew. Yeah, we knew. He would been freaking out watching that game anyway. So
oh man,
respect,
they
Rich.
didn't fumble the bag, man. They did their thing, man.
Did their thing. Did not cover those. Remember, guys, 2-4 last week for me, 3-3 for Dre. I was 2-0 on my picks. Chiefs buff. Or 2-1. Shout out to Dallas. Sorry, guys, giving that one out. But this week, the 2 I will give out: Buffalo, Detroit. I'm just riding it again. If you're giving anything out, let the people know.
I'm riding the Buffalo, and I'm also riding the I said that too. I'm riding the Green Bay one.
Green Bay 9.5. Yeah.
Let's go.
There we go. There you guys have it. Soundboard here. Playoffs. Intact. We're playing off. So
Playoffs.
signing off, guys. We'll see you guys around.
Enjoy the games.